Usually the biggest obstacle getting in the way of our dreams or our growth is actually ourselves. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Snyder, and this is the Product Boss Podcast. I've helped launch and grow thousands of product-based businesses, even one of my own. And over the last 20 years, I've seen behind the scenes of businesses just like yours. Whether they are makers, manufacturers, artists, or food and beverage businesses, I have spent so many hours studying it all. I've discovered what makes them successful, what mistakes they could have avoided, how did they turn their ideas into a successful business, and what are the strategies that they have used to make more sales and be discovered by more customers. And this is what this show is all about. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to become $1 million product boss, I'm here to give you the permission to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small. All you need is the right mindset, a little courage, strategy, and support, and you too can be the next $1 million product boss. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, friends, I have some exciting news to announce. HubSpot's Inbound Conference is back and I'm going to be speaking at it. Okay, I'm going to tell you just a little bit why I'm so excited about this, but if you're not familiar with HubSpot's Inbound Conference, this is the place to be, as it's the premier marketing, sales, and AI tech event for business leaders in marketing, sales, customer service, and ops. It's the perfect opportunity to network, learn, recharge, and leave feeling more inspired than ever. I love conferences, and this is exactly how I feel. Okay, but plus, wait for it, okay? I am so incredibly honored to share the stage with influential people and people that I'm like mega fangirling over, okay? Including, wait for it, ready? Like one of the best marketers ever in the world. Like I have such respect for this person and all the other reasons. Ryan Reynolds is a speaker there. Okay, he's one of the keynote speakers. And the greatest, okay, amazing, talented female athlete, Serena Williams. I mean, pinch me. This is unbelievable. The Inbound Conference will take place from September 18th through the 20th in Boston. I want to give you a big ol' hug. So come visit and come watch these amazing keynote speakers. You can come watch my speaking event and all the other things that are happening there. You really just don't want to miss this. Visit inbound.com to see the lineup and grab your tickets today. Hey, product boss. All right. Welcome back to the show. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to dig into some, personal things and personal changes that I've been making and experiences that I've had that maybe you're starting to see come through, whether you're in my programs, you come to like my live coaching, the challenges, you're listening to the episode and you're like, Jacqueline's kind of talking a little different, right? I don't know. I feel different and maybe it's coming through. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm the exact same person that I've always been. But actually, I would say we're always growing and we're always shifting. And I'm a lifelong learner. And it's something that I just, I'm always working on and trying to expand. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about expansion of our experiences, of our minds, and how when we start to dig into expansion, how that can transform your life and transform your business. So one of the things I did this year, and I've gone through a lot of changes and recently experienced the loss of my dad, and there's just been a lot of things. And so I want to kind of dig back into the beginning of the year. So over the last couple of years, I've been in different groups. I've been in different masterminds. I've paid to go on retreats and experiences and all these things. So whether they've been something that's been a long-term investment of time and energy and finances where I've like signed up for a long-term mastermind, or it's something where I'm like, oh, that's a really cool experience and I'd like to participate in it. And whenever I've got something that crosses my plate, right, that comes into my inbox or I get an invitation from somebody, I really consider what kind of impact will this do and what am I looking for right now? You know how like you get cravings sometimes, you're like, oh, my body really needs like extra iron. So maybe I need to eat more meat, or you're like, I really need fruits and vegetables, right? Like you start to feel something, or like I need sunlight. I need to get out into the sun. We start to feel it in our body. Well, it's the same way that I feel in my body when I'm like, what do I need in this moment to help me expand, to help me get up and over whatever I feel like maybe is an obstacle, as a mindset block, whatever it is. So I've done this in the past where back a couple of years ago, we went on a retreat to Costa Rica. And we had this like incredible experience where I thought I was showing up to do business and there was no business happening. They were business owners. There was no business, but I had this like crazy transformation there and this experience where it's like being with these women and it was kind of letting go of all the business stuff and kind of raising, I know it sounds so silly, but like raising my vibration and being around women in this like this energy. And I just had this one experience. And that was actually the experience that changed everything and where we decided to move from New Jersey and move back to Los Angeles. Okay. It was in that moment, I had this like realization that I was in the wrong place and going in the wrong direction. And I was like, I told my husband, I was like, I think we need to move back to LA. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And we did. Okay. And then everything came into alignment after that. And so when I get back to this year, right, I knew I had that experience and I've been in other groups and other masterminds that have been very much like work focused or strategy focused. And there's been really cool experiences. Like I've gone to Portugal and to Puerto Rico and Miami and Nashville and Austin. Like I've done all these other experiences. But in this year, I decided that it was a time for like a little bit of a change. I could keep learning strategy and I could keep doing stuff in business. And obviously the groups that I'm in are business oriented. But I also realized that I needed to get out of my own way. I was so done with operating like my current operating system and operating the way I'd always operated. Does that make sense? Like in this way where I was like, I'm kind of done with these thoughts that I've been having. I'm done with this mindset thing, right? I want to start to shift and change. So I went to a retreat in January that was business focused, was strategy focused. We did a lot of business stuff. But we also did a lot of things that kind of started to expand me, right? They started to open me up in a different way. So it was this kind of like this merge. It's not woo, but a little bit of this kind of like this merge between like self-care and truly understanding who I am as a person and digging back into me and spending time with me as well as my business. Because you've heard me say this before, but usually the biggest obstacle getting in the way of our dreams or our growth is actually ourselves. And I'm such a big advocate of being a lifelong learner, of someone who's kind of working on self-improvement as well as business improvement, right? I love input. I love knowledge and I love kind of figuring things out and making changes and making things work better. And so in this experience that I had at the very, very end of this retreat that I was at for over a few days, and I'd gotten a lot of great feedback for business and I felt like I had a plan and all the things. But at the very end, we had this like closing ceremony. And in that ceremony, we kind of did some like, we laid on a mat and we were listening to kind of like meditative music and we're doing a little bit of breath work. And we were then kind of taken through a visualization. And that visualization was ultimately where I was guided and the group was guided into thinking, okay, you're you now, and you get into your car. And as you get into your car, you're going to drive to you 5 years from now. And you're going to drive to you in your house 5 years from now. And so my eyes are closed and I'm imagining myself driving and I start to drive through this neighborhood and the neighborhood looks like Santa Barbara, if you know what Santa Barbara looks like. And I was like, this is so weird because me in 5 years, I don't believe that I'm living in Santa Barbara. I went to college there. Like, I don't think I'm going back there anytime soon. And it just wasn't a desire of mine. I was like, this is weird that I look like I'm in Santa Barbara. And then I get up to this house and it's kind of like a Spanish style modern Mediterranean house, which is very typical to Southern California, to Los Angeles and Santa Barbara and San Diego. It's just like beautiful with arches and white and those roofs, those like Mediterranean roofs. And I open the door. This is all in my visualization. And you go in and then it's this, whatever the case is, visualization. It's actually me meeting myself 5 years from now. And I come to me and I give myself some tips and advice, right? This is all through the visualization. But I just remember looking at this house because if you know my story in my life, I didn't have a very stable life with my family and I lived in a lot of different houses and a lot of instability. And all I ever dreamed of was having a house that I could raise my children in, and a house that my kids could come back to, and a house that really matched with the life and lifestyle I wanted, right? We've owned houses before. They were just part of like the steps to where I wanted to go. They weren't my dream house. They were houses, but they weren't what I like imagined for myself in my life. And so as I'm there talking to myself 5 years from now, I know it sounds so funny. And I got this advice and I was embraced by myself and I was like, oh, everything's going to be okay. And I remember seeing pictures of my family on the wall and just all this amazingness. Like, I don't think I've really actually ever shared this with you all publicly. And I just felt so comforted. And like, I was like, oh, I see what's possible for myself when I came out of this visualization. I felt empowered. I felt hopeful. I felt inspired. I felt changed, to be honest. And I thought, I need this. I need more of this. I love this all, right? Living in abundance and manifestation and all these other things that I had never really done before. Cause I always used to think before it was all about like hard work and hustle. And that's kind of how I was raised. Like you got to work hard and you got to hustle and be up at all hours and do all the things and make it really, really hard. But I actually started to find the ease and the easiness in this new way of being. So this has really been my transformation. I would say really over the last 6 months, which was really intentional. It was really intentional that I wanted to get more in touch with my feminine, which is more of the receiving energy than the masculine, which I tend to sit in, which is more of the doing energy. And I think we can hold both. And then also that sort of manifestation of the life I dream of and imagine, right? Getting out of my own way and seeing what's possible. So here's the cuckoo crazy stuff to this. Okay. This is in January. And afterwards I was like, okay, I really want to buy a house. I kept having all the reasons why we couldn't buy a house in LA because they're so expensive. And I couldn't think of a house that would like for what we could afford and for the kind of houses that you could get, like they didn't match. Like they did not match. It was like, I am never going to be able to buy a house because I don't know how like this is, how the house I dream of, my dream house in LA will match with the kind of money it takes to buy it. Right. And in the neighborhood I want to live in and keeping my kids in the same school and all the things. Okay. I had all the reasons it wasn't going to work, but with the manifestation and with this like clear vision that I had is like, okay, all right, let's just be open to it. Instead of putting the no, and I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't need to know how it's going to happen. I just need to kind of have faith and get into that like alignment and that way of being so that I can attract what I want in my life because anything is possible. Right? We've proven this to ourselves time and time again. Anything is possible. Right? And so I started really having to work against the normal me and shift into this energy of like, let's see what's possible. Hey friend. Okay. So it's podcast recommendation time and you're just like me and we love podcasts. So I'm so excited to share with you one of my favorite shows right now, which is Imperfect Action, hosted by Steph Taylor and brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Now, if you want marketing insights without the fluff, you're going to want to tune in because Steph really dives into the meat and potatoes of marketing. I mean, I loved one of her most recent shows where it was talking all about audience growth. And she shares her 2-part formula so that growing your audience doesn't have to feel so hard. Plus, she even shares how you can fix it and fix your current strategy if you only have one part of the formula and not the other. I mean, she's like, it's 2 parts, but I'm even going to show you how to do it with 1 part. This episode is so good and was an absolute game changer in my strategies. And it's filled with real actionable advice from a marketing pro. Listen to Imperfect Action wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, product boss. Okay, I've got a really exciting announcement. Now, I'm doing something I have never done before, and I am hosting one of our most popular challenges this summer. Yep, we are going to do it in the summer in July. Okay, so before I tell you all the details, I just want to talk to you a little bit about something that has really been coming up a lot in our community. People have been thinking about brands and how they become household names. Like, how did Yeti become Yeti? Or how did the UGG boot become the UGG boot or Nespresso coffee machines, right? And if you think about these brands, we also know that they're known for something, right? We know core products that they're known for. They are not throwing spaghetti at the walls and trying to make all the different things. Because the truth is, to be successful, to keep more money in your pocket, and to make good money, you need to niche down. We have to really focus on what works, what we can actually sell to our customers. So if you don't know how to define this yet, and you're kind of still trying to think like, how do I make this work for my business and make the kind of money that I want to make by selling more products and becoming a money-making machine, that's exactly why I am actually bringing back one of our most popular challenges, which is the Bestseller Secrets Challenge. And brand new, you're hearing it here first, we're going to do it over 3 days. It's typically a 5-day challenge, but I know you all have things to do. The sun's out. We want to go to the beaches and all the things, but we also know that this is such a good time to work on our business and really prep for the holiday season that's coming up. soon. Okay. So if you want to be here with me, okay, we can have our sunnies on. We can sit outside for it, but I'd love for you to join me in the Bestseller Secrets Challenge in July. We kick off Monday, July 15th. And so all you have to do is head to theproductboss.com/best and get signed up. That's theproductboss.com/best, or head on over to Instagram and just DM me the word best and I will take care of you. We will make sure you are all in. All right. I can't wait to see you inside. So we actually kind of started looking at houses. I was like, all right, let's just like look around. I don't know when it's ever going to be the right house. And I knew my house wasn't ready for me yet, meaning like the one I was meant to find wasn't ready. And we start looking and it's like, not going to work. Can't believe it's that much. Like, oh, we're going to have to redo this whole house. There's all this stuff. And then we found this one house that was like a fixer-upper. And we were like, oh, maybe we can get this fixer-upper. It's a big house, but it literally someone stopped construction on it in the middle of doing it. It's like, oh, we can afford it because it's a halfway done house. But we didn't get approved for the loan for that. Okay. So we're like, crap. I was trying to get the half-made house to try and make this thing work, but that didn't work. And then all of a sudden, my brother, who's my realtor, called me and he's like, I found this one house. I really want to show it to you. I was like, okay. All right, let's go see what happens. So we drive up to this amazing gated community. These homes are incredible. And as I'm driving through it, it sort of looks like Santa Barbara. They're all Montecito style houses. They have these like Mediterranean houses. They're modern Mediterranean. They have those roofs I saw. They have palm trees. It's a small community, but amazing. And it's set out like it's just amazing. And we drive up to this house. And I'm like, wait, hold on. This house, like this house matches our budget. And we open the front door and we walk in and I'm like, this is unbelievable. It was the house that I visioned in that retreat in January. So much of it. Like I imagined, I didn't want a house that like you walk in the front door and you immediately see the outside. There's a lot of these houses being built in LA that are like modern, but small. And like you walk in and basically it's the living room, kitchen, and you're in the backyard, right? It wasn't that, which I didn't want. And then in my vision too, I remember there was kind of like this hill in the back and I was looking out and in my head, I was like, well, if I'm in Santa Barbara, I could probably see the ocean, but I couldn't see an ocean. And when I walked out into this backyard, which is like a retreat backyard, there's like a little bit of a hill. There's this infinity pool and I'm looking out and there is no ocean. And I'm like, this is the house in my visions. Like, how did this thing actually happen? And so we put in an offer and they accepted and we closed in 30 days at the exact amount that we were comfortable with investing into a house. It was like magic. And I could have never believed that this was possible back in January, but I needed to start to expand. I needed to start to think differently. Maybe not even think. Like I needed to shift from like thinking and doing into faith and being and like this energetic shift. And so I share all of this with you because as I'm moving into my new way of being and continuing to support you all on this like global level and inside of my programs and the courses and the challenges and the podcast and all the things, I'm really trying to build in this element of not only mindset, which I know, I've talked about for so long, but also this concept of like expansion of our experiences. Because my experiences from whether I was in Costa Rica at this incredible retreat, making this huge decision to change where our family lived, where my kids were growing up, like make this huge change to move. But I knew in my soul and in my body that I was not in the right place, to this year where I knew that I needed, like I craved this different way of being. I craved kind of stepping into my feminine and starting to get out of that doing and more into being and having more faith that I don't have to hustle as hard, but rather that I can be open to things happening for me. And that experience is what I'm kind of shifting a little bit into with trying to share that with you. And in Standout Society, which is one of our new programs, which is just absolutely incredible. Like the feedback's amazing. The results are amazing. I actually share in there my exact manifestation and abundance playlist into what I listen to, because I know that this is kind of a part of that I realize is kind of an unlock for what we really want and desire. And the other thing that I've been doing is I've been hosting masterminds, in-person masterminds, 1-day retreats, multiple day retreats. I've been doing things like that and so if you've been to any of them, there's this element of me incorporating not only business and strategy, because I know we can work on your business. I can help you in your business. I can be your coach, but also the things that are more than what you think or know you need, right? That like nutrition, that nourishment to like your soul, to the nourishment to like your being, your body, your self. That's the stuff that I think sometimes we tend to miss out on. And it's something that I've been really leaning into. So what I'm really excited about coming up is in August, I'm actually hosting my very first expansion retreat for the Product Boss community at my home, right? I'm like, I wanted this home because I wanted my family, my extended family. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. There's 11 nieces and nephews. I wanted to host them all here at my house and have family under this roof. That's why we moved back to LA. And then also a place to host my community, my students, to be with you and pour into you and help you not only improve your business, which will improve your life, but also yourself, like to pour into you and expand your experiences and really just like treat you to something else. Because what's funny is recently at one of our retreats, one of my students, I love her so much, we'd have this amazing meal together. There were about 12 of us around a table, this beautiful Italian restaurant by the beach. And it was a multi-course meal. There was like appetizers and aperitifs. And it's like the kind of place where you get pasta before you get the meal. And then there's this beautiful dessert at the end and drinks and wine and all these things served. Like this is what the experience I was providing to the people at the retreat. And I remember she said, you know what's crazy? She's like, I told my boyfriend and my mom that for my birthday, which was actually, I think today when I'm recording this, funny enough, she's like, I told them that I wanted a course meal. And I was thinking at first, I was like, a course, like, do you want to take courses? Like that's where my brain was. And I was like, multi-stream machine while eating? No. She was saying that she wanted a coursed out meal. A meal where they brought her an appetizer and they brought her the pasta before the entree. And then there were desserts and in this experience. And she's like, I just had it. It's something I actually asked for. And I can't believe I just had it. And that's kind of the same idea, right? It's like asking for what you want and allowing the universe or God, whatever you believe, to provide. And so that's what I want to do. Like I want to pour into you and expand and give you these magical days, right? So I want to invite you, if you're listening and you feel called to this and you're like, this is actually something that I think sounds really interesting. I have a few spots left. So it's not a lot of people. It's going to be a smaller group of people that I'm going to be hosting at my house for 2 magical days of immersion and business and life and all the things at my home, my dream home, the one I just told you all about, where you're going to be able to be guided and connected with other entrepreneurs just like you. We're going to work on transforming your business in a new way and transforming you in ways that maybe you haven't even imagined, with like nourishment of delicious food. I've got some really special guests coming, some incredible gifts, some really cool experiences happening. We're working on having like this magical evening experience as well. Just some really cool stuff. I'm not going to share all of it here with you right now because I want there to be some surprises, but we have more information on it. Okay. So if that's something that you're like, this sounds really cool, it's theproductboss.com/retreat, theproductboss.com/retreat, or you can DM me on Instagram, the word retreat, and I'll send you all the information. Okay. So either way, we're going to send you the information on it. But if you feel called to this, you want to know more about it, just shoot me a message. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And I'd love to meet you in person. And I'd love for you to have some of these experiences that I have had. And if I could be any sort of way to help you get there, I would be so honored. And I'd love to meet you too in real life. I'll drop the link into the show notes. It's like super easy. And so if you feel called and you want to save a seat and you want to come, I'm just going to tell you a few like things that we're going to do. Okay. So we're going to meet in LA and it's going to be for 2 days, August 22nd to August 23rd, where we're going to nourish you and your body with breakfast and lunch. You're going to step into clarity with transformation with business building workshops that we're going to teach over the 2 days together. There's going to be hot seats and like group work where we can dig into your businesses and you're going to be able to really get direct feedback on your business and to create strategy. We're going to have some mindset and breath work and meditation so that you can nourish your mind and soul. We just did breath work actually at the last 2 retreats that I hosted. And a lot of my masterminders had never experienced it before. And I was so proud of them to kind of like try and experience something different. It's really meditation, but in an active way, because a lot of times our brains just don't stop. So this is a really great way to kind of like meditate, but in an active meditation. And so many of them came out. You can just see people changed at the end. Just clarity or letting go or release of deep feelings. Like I could talk about it, but like there's just no way to know until you experience it. And that even now they're like, this is amazing. How can I do more of it? And I have ways that you can do more of it. So just so good. I've also got some surprise guest experts, including, if you don't know her, one of the biggest podcasters out there. I mean, she's interviewed people like Matthew McConaughey, Chelsea Clinton, Deepak Chopra. I mean, amazing. Kathy Heller is going to come to our house and spend like this really intimate time with our guests, right? And then you're going to get a gorgeous gift bag of goodies and all this amazingness, okay? Plus other amazing surprises. So it's 2 days together. And I'm also going to give you access to this information portal of education to support you as we lead up to the event and then after. So it's very limited in seats, but I want to host this. It's going to be my first one doing this at my home. Like I said, there's a few seats left. We've already got a bunch of people coming. You do not have to be in any of my programs. You do not have to be at a revenue level. You just have to want to expand and transform and have an experience where you get to work on your business. You get to work on you. We get to hug each other in real life. We get to do deep work and just really kind of help you and guide you on your journey. And so I'm super, super, super excited about those of you that have already signed up. Those of you who are considering signing up, it's just going to be so good. And it's just one of my dreams coming true. It's another dream come true. And again, you don't have to be at any revenue level. Like, come, let's share, let's be friends, let's all hang out, and let's just really expand together. All right, my friends. So I hope to see you again. It's theproductboss.com/retreat, or DM me over on Instagram, the word retreat, and we'll send you all the information. All right. So here's to the shift and the change. Here's to that energy of abundance and manifestation and believing truthfully that the universe or God has what's best for us out there. And if you're like me and you haven't been leaning into that as much as I hadn't been leaning into it, it's really the energy I'm shifting into. And I'm just really excited to share it with all of you. And if you have that energy already, come. More the better. All right. I can't wait to see if you join. And then if not, either way, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.